Welcome to the 24/7 Sports Channel, where we have yet another big commitment coming to you tonight. If you weren't watching, less than an hour ago was Deshaun Harris-Smith, who announced his commitment live to Maryland. And now we've got another big announcement from Carey Booth. Booth has narrowed his choices to 5 schools after taking 3 visits so far. And here's a look at some of his finalists. He's considering Texas, Penn State, Ohio State, Vanderbilt, and Stanford. Booth is a 17-year-old, 6'9" forward who's highly skilled, got a great feel for the game, and obviously a terrific pedigree. I believe his best basketball is very much still in front of him. Without further ado, we're going to bring him in live from his home. Carey Booth, welcome to the 24/7 Sports Channel. Thanks for joining us.
Hi.
So, how you doing, man? This is a big night.
Yeah, I mean, I'm definitely excited. I'm doing great. How are you?
I'm great. I'm not gonna break any fan base's hearts tonight. So I'm just asking you where you're going. Carey, I know it's crazy to me that you're 17 years old. I don't think most people realize how young you are for your class, and to handle all that you've handled. I mean, the recruiting process can be pretty daunting. Take me through, what it's been like the last couple of years and the last few months in particular, going through and seeing your recruitment blow up to this national level.
Well, obviously, I really thought that this was, a lot of people might not have seen this happening, but I definitely did. It all happened really fast. Probably the first session of Under Armour, AAU, that's when I really blew up. Everything took off like crazy. Got a bunch of offers. Obviously, the rankings, I mean, I don't really look that much into that, but that was really crazy too. So, it just happened really fast.
I remember that. I wasn't at that. It was in Indianapolis. Is that where session 1 of the UAA
was? Indianapolis. It was at Pages Athletic Center.
Yeah, and I remember hearing everybody saying, "Have you seen the Booth kid? Have you seen Calvin Booth's son?" And he plays way different. But obviously, I know you've grown up watching your dad, seeing him transition into the front office. But what is that like? Because you've got a different game than your dad did.
Mm-hmm.
So how's your game a little bit different for people who saw your dad and think they might know how you play? How's your game a little different?
I mean, my game is a lot different because I feel like I can shoot the ball a lot better. I move a lot better than him. Probably more athletic than he was at the same age. And the only thing he probably has on me is his shot blocking. He was really elite at that, but I feel like I can catch him in that as well.
So you just got way more game than dad, is what we're saying.
Yeah, that's basically what I'm saying. I mean,
he's not going to come up behind you or anything, is he?
Sorry, what did you say?
He's not going to come up behind you or anything, is he? Now we got this on the record.
Right. He always says he always debates like who would win at the same age and one-on-one. And I say he thinks that I wouldn't be able to get a shot off against him and stuff.
You pull him away from the basket. You can pick and roll and pick and pop. You'd have to stretch him out.
Yeah.
All right. Now, in all seriousness, your recruitment, it really started to escalate, as you said. Session 1 of the Under Armour Association, you became heavily recruited. You had your choice of high major programs. You ended up taking 3 official visits. We are approaching the big announcement, but before you make that announcement, I've done this long enough to know there's probably a wide variety of people you want to thank. So I want to give you an opportunity to do that.
Yeah, I want to thank both my parents, my mom and my dad, my entire family, my brother, my sister, both my sisters, obviously all the people that's watching on the call. I want to thank my AAU coach, LJ Goolsby. He really helped me along the way. Also, Brandon Global, he helped me take my recruiting to another level. And I just want to thank him a lot. So, yeah.
All right. Now, this is the moment that I know there are a lot of fan bases are waiting for. It is your moment. Take your time with it and tell us where you are going to be playing your college basketball.
So for the next few years, I decided I'm going to play basketball at Penn State. So that's where I'm making my decision.
Big news for Micah Shrewsberry in Penn State. In fact, I think this could be the biggest commitment, arguably, he's gotten since becoming the head coach there. Now, first of all, why did you decide on Coach Shrewsberry and Penn State?
I just really, he really believed in me. He recruited me really hard. He had a plan. He showed me what I could do at that school, and he really compared me to other guys that he's had before, like Jason Tatum, obviously Jaylen Brown, and I saw his success at other schools like Purdue and Butler. So what he did with Gordon Hayward was special as well. So I just feel like I can have a really good chance to win there and also reach my goals.
It's an interesting pedigree because Coach Shrews has obviously been at those college programs, but he spent significant time an assistant coach at the Celtics, so he's worked on both levels. Now, everybody, everybody's going to say, "Oh, he's went to the same school as Dad did," but as we talked about, you're a vastly different type of player, and I'm sure you're going to have a vastly different type of experience. How did that figure into your decision? The fact that your dad went to Penn State.
To be honest, it was more like a factor driving me away from Penn State than it was for me to go there, because I just want to pay my own way and like kind of be separate from my dad, because obviously like a lot of the times I was just known as a Calvin Booth's son a lot. Like I said that in articles a lot, sometimes like that. But really, I was just really impressed with how much the Penn State coaching staff, like how they did a good job recruiting me, and just the high level coaching that they have there, and what the opportunity that I have to like succeed there. So that's probably why it drove me there.
Yeah, and now for Penn State fans who haven't seen you play, and I know we touched upon this a little bit in terms of how you would beat Dad up in one-on-one, but how would you describe your game to Penn State fans who haven't seen you play yet?
So I feel like my game, I just try and have the best combination of energy and athleticism while on the floor. I can stretch the floor as well. I can shoot the ball a lot. But when I play, like, I want people to talk about my shooting last, because obviously I'm a really good shooter, but I just bring other things to the game. Like my energy and intensity, I want that to be the first thing they see, like when they watch me play.
And, I got to be honest, what stood out to me, in addition to how young you are at your size and your grade, but your basketball IQ at your size, in addition to your skill set, I think that's going to be a really important part of what allows you to potentially maybe just be scratching the surface of your best basketball. Carey, it has been so much fun to be able to watch you play and watch you grow over the last few months. Looking forward to doing it over the course of this next year as you head to Brewster Academy and seeing what the future holds at Penn State. And thank you so much for doing this here with us tonight on 24/7 Sports.
Yeah, thank you.
All right. Obviously, this is huge news for Penn State, and no one knows this prospect better than National Director of Basketball Eric Bozzi. So, Eric, what is Penn State getting in Carey Booth?
Yeah, that's the great question. They're getting really right now kind of a blank canvas, because if you had seen Carey Booth 15 months ago, it wouldn't have been a question about whether you're just going to play at the Big Ten level. It would have been more of a question of, okay, at what level of Division I period is he going to play? He wasn't as big. He was only about 6'7". He was still skinny. He liked to hang around the perimeter. He could run the floor, but he was just really a baby deer. And then you fast forward to seeing him this spring. I was able to go watch him work out with Casey Run GMC and LJ Goolsby right before the AAU season started, and they were really high on him. And I was like, holy cow, this kid's grown. He's gotten significantly more explosive, and he can shoot the ball. And now he's still got some things to work on consistency wise, but long term, this is a guy who I firmly believe has the potential to be an all Big Ten caliber player at Penn State.
And you talked about the jump he has made in recent months and the fact that he's still got some things to add. What in your mind comes next in terms of his overall progression to continue that linear path that we've seen in the last year or so?
I think there's a few things. First of all, that stands out to anyone who sees him play is going to be the strength factor. He's still pretty skinny, and he can get pushed around a little bit in the post. So adding some more bulk to be able to more capably fight back is going to help. And then I think the biggest thing that happens with any young player, and bigs in particular, is being confident and knowing that I can be the guy every time I step out on the court, and kind of taking that attitude of wanting to be the guy that, hey, everything should be coming through me out here. I need to be the man. I think there were some times during the summer where he just exploded and he'd have like 25 or 30 points. You'd be like, okay, he's about to turn the corner. And then the next game, he might only have like 5 or 6, not because he wasn't trying or because he didn't want to, but someone else might get hot, and he was very happy to defer. And that's always a big step from going to a good player to being a great player, is demanding the ball and demanding your share of the food on the table, and saying that, I need to eat every time I'm out there too.
I think just so much of that probably comes down to his age. I wonder, he's 17 years old. He's going against guys who are a year, sometimes 2 years older than him. It makes the comparison really interesting. Last question. How do you think he fits at Penn State with Micah Shrewsberry, and whether it's the style or the personnel that he can expect from Penn State?
I think he'll be a good fit with the type of roster that they've been building over the last year. They've landed a lot of versatile wings and guards, and now a big that kind of can play, a multiple guard, single big type set in a motion offense, some guy that can step out and help stretch the floor, but can also get back and protect the rim. That's the one thing I think Carey kind of undersold, his ability to protect the rim. He's really, really quick. You mentioned his basketball IQ.
Yeah.
Those things for a big tend to work out pretty well. And he's undoubtedly gained a little bit of that from his father. I know for anyone with a famous father, NBA father, entertainer, whatever, it's always tough because your name doesn't get brought up without your dad's name being brought up. It just kind of comes with the territory. But he is going to get a chance to set his thing. But, there are some things he can take from his father's game, and that I think he will as he progresses. So adding the strength, becoming a little bit more active as a shot blocker, and then just gaining that confidence. And I really think maybe a couple of years from now, we're going to be talking about an entirely different guy, and certainly a guy who has a chance to outplay where he's currently ranked.
Yeah, I would agree with that wholeheartedly. Again, not to harp on it, but just 17 years old. Sometimes comparing him to guys who are a year or 2 years older, I think his best basketball is certainly still in front of him. I think this is huge news for Penn State. And I'll tell you what, the analysis is just getting started. We've got a lot more on the 247sports.com. Both myself and Eric have written pieces that are up momentarily, if not right now. So head there for even more analysis. Don't forget to like and subscribe to this 24/7 Sports channel. We've had 2 live commitments from top 100 prospects tonight alone. We've got another one coming tomorrow with Reed Ducharme set to make his announcement, and yet another one this weekend. So please don't forget to like and subscribe. Appreciate you following us here at 24/7 Sports. We'll see you again tomorrow.